Hi, this is a quick viewing of the AssetGen Cabling Architect, which helps you create bills of materials for proposals, as well as help you reverse engineer existing cabling infrastructure. It can be used for architectures between rooms, buildings, even to modular systems, and can also cover multiple technologies. What we're basically doing is providing a mixture of Excel and Visio integration that allows you to have a lot of customization and avoid you having to learn a complete new tool set and infrastructure, and you can make use of what you understand of both Visio and Excel to begin with. All the files created can be reused with our AssetGen Connect and Visio utilities. The AssetGen Cabling Architect is supplied as a Visio file, which can be linked into spreadsheets, or you can do things manually. If you're doing this manually, you could drag across various nodes, which can represent rooms, buildings, floors, manholes, ducts, whichever, and then connect them together with different types of connectivity. And we will then produce a bill of materials for this. A much more efficient way is to actually link to a spreadsheet. So to show you that and how we would do that, we will just link to a spreadsheet using the data option. We will choose cabinets. So we just want to bring in cabinets in this case. So we have a range of cabinets that we want to link together. I'll bring all those cabinets onto a page. In this case, we're going to do a data center type cabling architecture. We'll use the AssetGen Visio utilities, the free ones, to actually resize everything for you. And we'll also supply a data graphic to make it a little bit easier to understand the functions of all the racks. And we'll just insert a legend that makes it a little bit easier to read and understand what the functions are. I'll now select all of those racks and just organize them to make it a little bit easier to do this using our matrix layout option. We'll just sort by cabinet function to begin with, do one row, and that then enables us to see and understand all the different racks and types that we have. So these racks here in blue are going to represent our fibre and copper distribution, which could be one or a number of racks, may not be important at the time. And then we have server racks in green. In orange we have network racks, and then on the right hand side we have storage racks. So the first part of our AssetGen Cabling Architect we're going to use is our multi-connect as a very quick way of connecting the distribution areas to all the racks. So if, for instance, probably every rack will have copper. So let's have some form of copper connectivity from our distribution area to all of those. Let's connect them together. Likewise, we have a B side. Let's connect them all together. Let's go to the fibre, and let's choose probably say OM4, but we're not going to connect that to anything really other than just the storage and the server racks. And the same on the other side. And then let's put in single mode to the network racks. So if I go to the fibre there, let's take all the network racks alone and connect them in. Of course, as you can see, you can override and do anything that you want. And that's the basic first pass where we've created all of these. And this is a very quick way of designing and putting together, just all the connectivity, which could be between rooms. The next thing is to use our cabling architect option that we see there, and assign an identifier to these so we can then vary the numbers of cables and the type and the specs and things we're going to use. I'll just leave it here as CUID as an assign, and if I just assign this, you'll then see if we zoom in now, all the cables have got a unique identifier as part of that. And we can then go and produce from our cabling architect, just go back in again, we can then export all that information, open it up as a CSV, and there we have our bill of materials of all the cables, the nodes they're connected to. We can then vary the quantities, the lengths, the spec, and bring this back into the diagram. And how you get that cable length can be done a number of ways. I'll show you one way that does that. But of course this will come down to the layout of the racks and where they go on a floor. So let's go to the next stage then, which is actually to do that floor layout and then build on this information. We've got the cabling architecture to begin with. So how do I do a floor plan? using the same racks and everything. It's quite easy and quite simple. All we have to do first of all is probably just declutter the diagram a little bit. Simplest way is to just remove all of the cabling layers at the moment. Let's just make it so that we only have the nodes visible, as you can see. We'll then select all of the racks, and what we'll now do is we'll organize them by their row numbers. So our Visio utility may help you with that. It's a very simple, easy way to organize them by rows, and then bring in a background that then represents the floor plan and the cable tray, so we can then position things appropriately to the design. And it may just be, in this case, I'm going to select this row, change the alignment so all the fronts of the racks are together, and position them just beside the ventilation tiles. Same with the next row that will probably be facing them. And of course every design will be different in every data center. And then likewise with these ones, I'll just align these to the bottom. Place them on top. And I've got some storage boxes, which maybe we just might put over here. And then wherever we want to actually put our distribution zones, probably somewhere near where a lot of the cabling is coming in, so it's easy to then move things around. We haven't lost any of the connectivity, but while we're in this state, now we can actually start working roughly what the lengths will be. We provide a cable ruler where we can stick it on any distribution zone, move it to a particular place. So you can say I want to provide fiber maybe to that rack there, B01, and what I'll do is this connector will actually tell you its length as you vary it. So we'll make it into a right angle connector just for ease to go up and down the cable tray, and then position it over the actual cable itself. If you want to change this in other ways, in fact, because maybe the fills could be too much, we can always then vary this and say let's actually change this and break this a few times like this. And what we'll then do is say let's take that, this to that, and it comes down to what's the most efficient way to actually link and put things together, just to give you a flavor. If you want to actually check a different distance, we could create another ruler, or we could then say we're linking between the zones themselves. So maybe I'll move the endpoint to this rack here where we have fiber coming in as well, and I can then just position that and then say what's the best way to get there. It may be the shortest route, but not necessarily. You might want to go the longest route between them all so it doesn't affect cable fill too much. So that's a little utility. As we move this and vary this around, you'll see in the text there 16.9 meters. You just need to position it. If you want to do that to look at cable fill and work out which cables go down which cable trays, we can always bring all of the connectors back on again, so they're all visible. If we select them all, we can turn them into right angle connectors, and then you can position those to go down the particular trays you wish to try and get an idea of fill. So I hope that's given you a very quick understanding of the AssetGen Cabling Architect. There's many other things it can do, but I think for the purposes of an introduction, this gives you an understanding of how to create bills of materials and designs, both physical and logical, for cabling architectures. Thank you.